Indigenes of Manya Krobo in the eastern region are divided over the continuous celebration of the Dipo puberty rites. While a section believe the values and objectives are still relevant, others think that the custom has outlived its usefulness. Here's a report by Peter Kwao Adato.
Dipo is the rich and revered culture of the Manya and Yilo Krobos. The tradition fights early premarital sex and early pregnancy. Dipo is performed in the months of April and May each year. Even though girls are taken through the rite, boys and men are equally bonded by the laws guiding Dipo. Parents are obligated to ensure the celibacy of their girl child, or they risk losing them through banishment should they get pregnant before celebrating Dipo. Initially, the girls are confined up to 6 months or more and schooled in personal hygiene, ancestral rites, cooking, housekeeping, childbirth and upbringing, and how to be good mothers and wives.
When there was no formal education, there was no class 1, there was no any tablets to learn whatever, there was a system that Krobos devised to have these females go into life beautifully.
But these virtues are now heavily challenged by modernity and foreign religions. Krobos are now forced to limit the rich tradition in practice, duration and lessons taught.
We do not impose rules on the people. Maybe a parent or even a pastor may not want people to know their wards have performed the rites.
Again, the event is now held officially over 4 days between Friday dawn to Monday.
They have to put a stop to it. There's no need of it. Sending them to where the stone is, putting them on it 3 times, it's not fair. They have to stop.
The girls are taken through rituals to prove their celibacy before they qualify to partake in the festival.
Formally, if the person is grown up, they take them to a room about a week. But now the education level, you could know that this time they are all at school. So if you take somebody's child who is at school to a room for 1 week, then you are delaying the education. So that is why everything has a model in such a way.
The crucial part of the rite is when the girls sit on the sacred stone to prove their virginity. Those who are pregnant and the men responsible for their pregnancy face kuku dipo, the form of punishment for not maintaining celibacy. This is also to deter other young girls growing up to be patient until the right time. Any lady who partakes in the rites brings honor to herself and her family. The highlight of the ceremony is when they drop their childhood cloth to be entirely covered in beautiful beads made by the Krobos themselves. The festival again provides opportunity for the people of Krobo to exhibit their rich handmade beads.
All right, let's go on the phone lines now and speak to Bright Appear. He is a child rights activist, and I would want to put these questions to him. Mr. Appear, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time.
Good afternoon, Martin.
Yes, to start with, there is, the accounts have a saying that Amamredie Yantunchine, and this is beautiful traditional rites that these ladies or girls are taking through. Some would argue that it instills or has very positive connotations. Do you think their right is abused in any way?
Yeah, Martin, what we need to look at is the motive of this particular culture and what is relevant in it in terms of the things that they do. If you look at the history, it established that it is just a way of adoring a person into adulthood, to take up certain responsibilities and all that. But we also know, and if you look at the international instrument with respect to children's rights and even the Children's Act, it gives respect to culture and how we have to do it. But what it talks about is that we need to promote the positive aspect of it. So if there is anything that is negative with respect to this particular culture, that abuse the right of children, then of course we need to deal with it. But in totality, it is something that I will not call for that. There should be a total ban of it. But there's something that we need to do. Once it violates the right of children, and then it means that we need to do something about it. For instance, this thing can be done without necessarily exposing them, the way they do it. And automatically, it's also against the right of children by taking off their clothes and all that, showing all their things and all that. I do not think that in terms of the respect for the dignity of children, that aspect, we should promote that. I think that we can do away with that one and so go ahead with it without necessarily infringing on the right of children.
Right, but as it stands, it seems that the people in that community clearly do understand that they do this for a particular purpose which they believe in. Do you think that legally speaking, when a child is asked to go through the process and they do not want to, they can take on authorities of that community if they think that they are going to violate any their individual rights?
Then of course, if the child feels that her right is being abused, they can pick it up. But the way it is, it becomes a civil issue. So it's not a public issue that they can just take it up. But if the child thinks that her right is being abused by the community, they can take it up. And I'm sure, and I have so much confidence that if that is done, there will be some kind of limitation in terms of how children can be exposed to this culture. Because, right, if you look at the Children's Act and even the UN Convention on the Right of the Child, children do have a right to express their opinion on matters. And once they are able to express that opinion, the law provides that opinion also needs to be respected. So if they think that going through that process in terms of the exposure is against their fundamental human right, I think any child at all who goes through that process can take the matter up and then resolve it. And you know that in our court system, children cannot even walk to court and say that they have this and that. They need to also entrust such a matter in the hands of a person. So if anybody is interested who has gone through the process and feel that it is not the way it should go, and the person wants us to pursue it to bring some kind of sanity and respect to that particular cultural environment, we are ready to support such a person so that at least some of these is the kind of exposure that we give to them. We need to deal with that aspect of the culture. For me, I think that is against the fundamental right of every person, and we need to pursue it.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Brighter Pierre, for your input on this debate. It's actually still a debate. There are those for it and others are against it. But you can also let us know what you think on our various social media platforms. It is News on TV3 and then at News on TV3 for Twitter, News on TV3 for Facebook, at News on TV3 for Twitter. All right.